Well, Mark, it's another PMQs on the 13th of March, which is today. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen any of it. Okay, so I'm going to be reacting in probably the same way that you are. And I should be happy, but it's my daughter's birthday. She's 24 today. And I'm happy for her. But what kind of a country are we living in? You know?
I don't know. I'll just say happy birthday.
Okay.
I think I know where this PMQs is going.
Oh, I've no doubt.
Well, the other week it was you're more useless than me, so it's got to be you're more racist than me today, hasn't it?
It's an absolute surge. Let's get this moving
Anyway,
and see.
I'm so excited.
What?
I just can't hide it.
It's just like a song. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it.
I'm being sarcastic, but yeah, let's go.
Two questions to Prime Minister Amsel Khan.
Question number one.
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the post office IT scandal is one of the greatest miscarriages of justice in our nation's history, and I'm determined that the victims get the justice and redress that they deserve. Today, we're introducing legislation to quash convictions resulting from this scandal. The Department for Business and Trade will be responsible for the new redress scheme, and we're widening access to the optional £75,000 payment. Hundreds of innocent sub-postmasters have fought long and hard for justice. With this bill, we will deliver it.
Yeah, why did they fight long and hard for it, though? That's the problem. Go ahead, Mark.
Justice for Julian Assange, by the way. People have been fighting long and hard for him, but you've had him banged up for years on end in solitary confinement, you scumbags.
Yeah,
anyway,
absolutely.
sorry, carry on.
Go on.
Former Home Secretaries and 3 government advisors on anti-Semitism, social cohesion, and on political violence. The levelling up sector is due to widen the definition of extremism tomorrow. Whilst on the benches opposite, members peddle far-right conspiracy theories about Islamists and Muslims taking over Britain. Shouldn't the Prime Minister's priority be getting his own house in order and stepping out extremism, racism, and Islamophobia from within his Conservative Party? And will the Prime Minister finally take Islamophobia seriously and agree to the definition?
Minister.
I've got the definition, but we'll let this play out first.
Discrimination has no place in our society. And it's
Hang on, we discriminate on loads of things.
It's important to distinguish between strongly felt political debate on one hand and unacceptable acts of abuse, intimidation.
Oh, this is just
on the other.
It's Clownworld again, isn't it? We should play that music, mate.
I'm telling you.
But it's one that we must tackle because
it would have to be. I don't know. Was that guy a Hindu that actually was raising that?
Don't know. No comment.
Of his previous Labour candidate in Rochdale.
Tobias Selman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Armed Forces personnel who served their country for
I'm not listening to this.
15 years are eligible for the Long Service Good Conduct Medal.
Where's Keir Starmer?
I know.
Is he on today?
He is. He's definitely there. He's out in front. But what is it? This thing about Islamophobia? It's actually a real thing now. People are nervous about the Islamists taking over the country. There's parts of the country which even some of the police quietly say are no-go areas, Mark.
My honourable friend is right that our incredible NHS staff deserve our utmost thanks for their service, and I'm pleased that
I get it. He's pleading for the NHS staff to get some of the same things that the Army get after long service.
We also, of course, recognise NHS staff for outstanding
What left on the street?
And MPs are able to acknowledge their work through the NHS Parliamentary Awards, and nominations remain open for that, and I would encourage colleagues to avail themselves of it. But I will make sure that he gets to meet the Secretary of State to discuss his specific proposals further.
We now come to Leader of the Opposition, Keir Starmer.
Here we go.
Legislation on the post office scandal. Mr. Speaker,
but your donor is racist.
The formidable Tommy McAvoy. He served his hometown of Rutherglen and the Labour government with loyalty and good humour, and we send our deepest sympathies to his wife, Eleanor, and their family. We also learned that the Right Honourable Member for Maidenhead will be taking her well-deserved retirement.
Yeah, goodbye, Theresa Maria, whatever your name is.
Sharia May.
Sharia May.
Off your pop.
Yeah.
You turned a blind eye to all this years ago when someone warned you about it.
Yep.
And now you're running away.
Yep. And she's going. She doesn't have to go. She's not. She's only in her 50s.
She does have to go, John. Bye-bye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out 3 or 4 times in the face. Sorry, anyway, moving on.
All black women.
Here we go.
Mr. Speaker,
You were right.
comments
No more
were
racist than
wrong.
me.
They were racist.
Right.
And he has now, as I said, the
I've got
comments
the
were wrong, they were
definition.
racist. He has
I've got it.
rightly apologised for them, and that remorse should be accepted, Mr. Speaker. There is no place for racism in Britain, and the government that
What's
Racism.
racism?
I don't know. There
I
was
thought I was
racism.
making
There was-
faults with the fader, but there you go.
Right, let's stop.
Mr. Speaker, the man bankrolling the Prime Minister also said that the member for Hackney North should be shot. How low would he have to sink? What racist, woman-hating threat of violence would he have to make before the Prime Minister plucked up the courage to hand back the £10 million that he's taken from him?
Oh yeah, just like some of your members would hand back what was it, 500,000 to the Chinese.
Yeah, I know.
To get lost.
There was one under Corbyn as well, and they pulled money, and Eddie didn't give that back either.
No.
Right, so, do you want to pause it for a second?
And
So I've got the definition.
I'm
they've all been
coughing
looking
trying
for.
to get the words out.
It's all right. Right, so they're looking for a definition for these racist extremists, yeah? So it's not me and you, because we're not racist, and most people I know haven't got a racist bone in their body. But apparently Labour and Conservatives are the most racist people because they're calling each other every week.
Oh, yeah.
So the definition for your extremist is Labour and Conservative MPs and donors and just anyone to do with any of
Yeah.
this.
And
Because you
they're
call
not,
each other racist every week, but I'm not calling anyone racist. No one's calling it me.
no, and they're not going to give the £10 million back to that guy. All right, that guy got a massive contract with the NHS. Now, yes, it might be doing a sort of a Trudeau in Canada with some of these things, but it's actually getting £10 million back. That's the problem that I have. They pay public money for something, and he's able to give 10 million back. That means he's not donating that out of the goodness of his heart, is he?
No.
I can't I work that out. So he made 10 million profit on that deal that he got with the NHS, and he's given it back to the Tories as a sort of a thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. Right. I think what we need to do is do what nobody else is doing. Let's just quickly, before we move on, look at what he actually said, right?
Okay.
He reportedly said 5 years ago. So is that, gospel? Okay.
Well, if it was in The Guardian, it is.
Well, it was only the full thing. I've only found out the full thing he said in one thing, and that's the Daily Mail. The rest of them just cut the bad bits out. So it says it's like trying not to be racist, right? So he says he's trying not to be. But you see Diane on the TV, and you're just like, you just want to hate all black women because she's there. Now that is a stupid bloody statement.
Yeah, it's wrong.
It is a little bit racist, John, because you should be just hating Diane for what she's saying, not all black women. But it's not misogynist because it's not all women, right? So yeah, you could say it was a bit racist. I think it probably is. But then his next sentence isn't read out by anyone. And I repeat, I don't hate all black women at all. But I think she should be shot. Now, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. But then if you look at the words should and must in law, and when you're looking at guidance, must is obligatory.
Yeah.
Should is probability, a recommendation. He's not asking people and telling people to go and shoot her, so he's not inciting it.
No.
It is a real daft thing to say. Maybe the guy thinks he's funny, but he's not. But again, it's all about the racism, isn't it?
Of course it is.
He said should be shot. That's probably worse, to be honest.
It gives them that in to say those things.
And pose
Go on,
as
carry on,
some
then.
kind of unifier. But when the man bankrolling his election says the member for Hackney North should be shot, he suddenly finds himself tongue-tied, shrinking in sophistry, hoping he can deflect for long enough that we'll all go away. What does the Prime Minister think it was about the hundreds of millions of pounds of NHS contracts given to Frank Hester by his government that first attracted him to giving £10 million to the Tory party in the first place.
I mean, racism's not good, like. But why is it the worst thing in the world now? Why is it worse than shooting someone and no poverty and wars?
And kids going hungry in the morning.
And paedophiles and terrorism. Why is it more important than that? I'm not saying it should be totally ignored.
It's hurty words.
But it's comments from 5 years ago by some absolute divvy.
Yeah.
All he cares about. They just want his money.
That's right.
Give him the money back. End of story.
Speaker, the problem is he's describing a Labour Party that no longer exists. I'm describing a
I wish the Labour Party didn't exist.
I know, yeah.
election.
Kirsten.
They can shout all they like. 2 weeks ago, he marched them out like fools to defend Islamophobia. And now the member for Ashfield is warming up the opposition benches for them.
Oh, he's talking about Lee.
And yesterday he sent them out to play down racism and misogyny until he was forced to change course. He won't hand the money back. He won't comment on how convenient it is that a man handed huge NHS contracts by his government is now his party's biggest donor. You have to.
Is a bit of coincidence, isn't it?
And a party that can't govern.
Be worse could have China as your donor.
National insurance contributions fund state pensions and the NHS. So is the Prime Minister's latest unfunded £46 billion promise to scrap national insurance going to be paid for by cuts to state pensions or cuts to the NHS?
I think we should be making cuts to parliamentarians.
Yeah,
Cut their wages down and see how they get on.
Sacked a bunch of racists.
Yeah, because they're all racists on both sides.
Well, they are. They're calling each other every week, bunch of racists.
You're a racist.
Get your definition sorted and lock yourselves up. Do us a favour.
That the Labour Party will not be sticking to the Conservative government spending plans. So we now have a litany of unfunded promises on the NHS.
Well, at least they're onto something more important now.
And that doesn't even include the £28 billion 2030 eco-pledge that he's still committed to. But what we all know, Mr. Speaker, is that while we're cutting taxes, Labour's unfunded promises mean higher taxes for working Britain.
Yeah, they're going to do a bad job.
The Labour Party will not be sticking to his completely unfunded £46 billion.
See what I mean? It's just the same old.
No, but at least they've moved on to important things now, because what they're doing is, with these racists and divvies, don't give him any oxygen. You're giving the guy loads of it here. Just go round, fine him, whatever if he's done a crime, do him for that, and let's move on. Jesus.
But there's been no crime.
Well, and there's been no shooting, and it was 4 or 5 years ago, so no one took him seriously, did they?
No.
No, exactly.
Or the NHS, or he will have to raise other taxes or borrowing. Which is it, Prime Minister?
Mr. Speaker, I know it's not a strong point, but if you actually listened to the Chancellor last week, what he would have seen is NHS spending is going up, Mr. Speaker. It's going up. It's a plan that's backed by the NHS CEO, who says that we're giving her what she needs, and at the same time, we are responsibly cutting taxes for millions of people in work. An average worker benefiting from a £900 tax cut, Mr. Speaker. But what I'm hearing for him is he's against our plans to cut national insurance.
The highest tax burden since the Second World War.
Which is true, the highest tax burden.
£46 billion of unfunded commitments. They tried that under the last administration, and everybody else is paying the price. When 2 weeks ago, the Prime Minister promised to crack down on those spreading hate. Today, he shrugged at the first challenge. Last week, he promised fantasy tax cuts. Now he's pretending it can all be paid for with no impact on pensions or the NHS. All we need now, Mr. Speaker, is an especially hardy lettuce, and it could be 2022 all over again.
I get the feeling this is no coincidence that a week or so after he gave that speech and was forced to admit there's Islamophobia, then this comment comes out from 4 years ago. Sounds like a massive trap to me.
Yeah.
Because Richie's thick, he just walks into them every time.
Mr. Speaker, again.
Mr. Speaker,
Hang on, what's happening with the Speaker anyway?
He talks about pensions. Pensions are going up by
Nothing.
Unforgiven now, is it?
No, that's it. That's all forgotten
Just
now.
allow the whole intimidation of Parliament, and you were trying to get in from outside.
Well, yeah, because they got 32 million there, so everybody gets protected, so everything's okay. Apart from the British public,
I thought we were trying to stop this extremism.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, we're watching this extremism in Parliament.
Yeah, that's the definition. It's them lot. Parliament.
Parliament.
One word.
I had a look at it. It's here. It's all here. Making Britain a clean energy superpower. He's still stuck to it, Mr. Speaker. And if you look through it carefully, there's billions in spending he's already committed to Scotland, billions for Wales. There's actually money for North London too, I noticed. But the problem is, none of it is funded. So why doesn't he come clean and tell him under his plans, Britain people's taxes are going up, Mr. Speaker?
Yeah, come clean. Here, you're dirty.
Mr. Speaker, millions of people around the UK and Europe have been inspired by the brilliance of Six Nations rugby.
I'm not listening to this. I am not listening to this. I'm just going to wait for the other
Maybe he's
fellow.
going somewhere with it.
All right, okay. I'll listen.
Always been grateful for being kept solvent. But the Prime Minister will also know that the finances of some of these clubs are fragile and that the current loan repayment schemes could be crippling. So will my right honourable friend ask the Sports Minister and the Treasury to try and find a solution through this so that taxpayer interests are protected and all of us can go on being inspired by top-class rugby for years to come?
Mr. Speaker, my honourable friend is absolutely right that we stepped in with a £150 million financial lifeline to ensure the survival.
Wouldn't it be great if we could see these two sides playing rugby together? Wouldn't anybody like to get into a scrum with these, while they're down and then punch the shit out of them while they're actually in the scrum, just like the rugby players do? Have you ever seen that? When they're underneath and they're going into a scrum, they're underneath, they're bashing each other.
Played rugby, I know. Tried to stay out that scrum. Luckily, I wasn't big enough.
Oh, here he
Thank
is.
you,
Let's
Mr.
have him.
Speaker, and I wish to begin by wishing Ramadan Mubarak to Muslims across these aisles. Mr. Speaker, the Conservative Party have accepted a £10 million donation from an individual who has said that one of our parliamentary colleagues in this chamber should be shot. Why is the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom putting money before morals?
Because they're going to use it to try and beat you lot, you idiot.
Obviously, you knew about it a couple of days ago, like everyone else.
Stephen Flynn! This is complete rubbish. The gentleman in question apologised for being rude. He wasn't rude, he was racist, he was odious, and he was downright bloody dangerous. Now, on Monday, the number 10 said, we've seen an
Ooh, that was strong. Downright.
I still don't think
bloody
anything is a
dangerous.
crime, though, is it?
No.
And hijack our democratic institutions.
When has it ever been known that when somebody turns around when they make a mistake or they're looking at somebody and say, right, that's it, you're dead, I'm going to get you?
I know, mate, I must tell me, son, I'm going to kill him every 10 minutes, mate, but he's still alive, do you know what I mean?
And it can be over something. I say it to my wife, I said, that's it. When she actually throws water over me, okay, when we're in the kitchen, she throws water over. I said, that's it, you're dead now, you're dead meat, I'm telling you.
Probably was a stupid flippant comment, but it was a daft one, like, to be honest. I mean, it's not worth, like, crucifying him to,
No.
He's not Ian Huntley, like, oh, come on.
Well, he's already given his get out of jail card. It's called 10 million. So that's it. All right, moving on.
But can my right honourable friend reassure this House that that legislation will be passed as quickly as possible, and we will support all sub-postmasters right across our United Kingdom?
Prime Minister. Well, Mr. Speaker, as I said, I want to pay tribute to all postmasters who have campaigned tirelessly for justice, including those who tragically won't see the justice that they deserve.
Like Julian
Today's
Assange.
legislation marks an
Julian
important
Assange.
step
Did I say
in
that?
finally clearing their names. And across this House, we owe it to them to progress this legislation as soon as possible before summer recess so that we can deliver the justice that they have fought for. We're continuing to work with our counterparts in Scotland and Northern Ireland as they develop their plans.
That's a repeat of earlier on.
Where and how convictions are quashed, Redress will be paid to victims.
Why
across
waste
the whole
words?
Of our United Kingdom on
I wonder how much they owe Julian then.
Tons.
Oh, he's been in there years and years, hasn't he?
Children's Cancer Services.
He's meant to be like totally nutty now, mate. He's lost it.
Yep.
Ed Davey.
Ed Davey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Irrelevant.
The future of Children's Cancer Services in my constituency, across southwest London, across Surrey, Sussex and beyond, will be decided by NHS England tomorrow. The existing service is world-leading and has saved the lives of countless children. Many of us who've engaged with the consultation process feel that a wrong decision is about to be made, ignoring risk to children's cancer care by moving them to the Evelina.
Just like you ignored the postmasters and the postmistresses. Yeah. Okay, anybody's going to listen to you. Get lost.
Final decision until he's met with myself and concerned MPs across the House so he can prevent these risks to our children's cancer services.
Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, as the honourable gentleman knows, decisions about clinical provision are rightly made by clinicians in local areas across the country. More generally, we're investing in more oncologists, radiologists and community diagnostic centres, which are contributing to cancer treatment being at record levels. But I will, of course, ensure that he and colleagues get a meeting with the Secretary of State.
Room change.
That's funny because they had a problem with cancer diagnosis probably about 2017, 18.
Oh, listen to this. Wait, sorry.
That we must urgently address this. But reports that the government wishes to broaden the definition of extremism are concerning because in separating the definition of extremism from actual violence and harm, we may criminalise people with a wide range of legitimate views and have a chilling effect on free speech. So can my right honourable friend reassure me that instead of trying to police people's thought and speech, as those opposite clearly wish to do, the government will instead target the specific groups that foster terrorism and those who fund them?
That Miriam.
Whoa, what a great question.
And that's why the strategy that I would urge her to wait for will, I think, be one that she can support, because it is our duty to make sure the government has the tools to tackle the threat that she rightly identifies.
They're going to put them all themselves in jail and then there's the problem solved. Bunch of racists.
Peaceful beliefs, nor will it impact free speech, which we on this side of the House will always strive to protect.
Well, that's it. I've had enough. That was the best question.
Yeah, sensible one, yeah.
Yeah, that was
because we know there's always overreach with these laws. It's not, and this is why the left are trying to push the whole, well, what about Islamophobia? It's like, well, that wasn't the actual point.
No.
But now it's been hijacked. Now that is the point. See where this is going.
Yeah, yeah.
And who gets the most compensation to defend their religious buildings? And who's the victim in all this again?
The Islamists.
Oh, wow. Always works that way, doesn't it?
Yep.
And then you point it out, and what happens? You're a bad man.
No, they can get lost. I've had enough of it. I'm not listening to any more of that crap. That's
I'm not listening to them bunch of racists anymore either, mate.
I'm going to get them out of the bar. Go on, get out.
They should be in jail. In
jail? Yes.
Controversial, is it?
We're going to have to watch. We're going to have to wait to see what they come out with tomorrow.
I don't say we want to shoot them anymore. So
I'm going to have to edit this and get it out before the new legislation comes out. Otherwise, we'll both be in jail. And I'm not sharing a cell with you, Stats.
But at least you get free meals, mate. You don't have to do any washing up.
Well, that's the thing. It's just whatever else goes on. I'm not happy. I'm not going to do it. No. And I know that we've got somebody close to us we can ask. Anyway, there you go. PMQs, 13th of the 3rd, 2024. You're racist. You're racist.
No, you're more racist than me.
Yeah. And we're going to shoot you.
Be racist to the Muslims or whatever they called them.
Have you got 10 million?
I don't know, but half of them can't even speak.
I couldn't speak before.
God.
There you go. All right, well, thank you very much, sir. That's great. Okay, much appreciated. I'm going to have some fun on the edit because I know that you were getting in and you were talking, and that stuff was coming out. But don't worry, you will be heard, sir. There you go. Take it easy.
See you in a bit. Ta-ra now.